Good evening, cherished viewers. You're welcome to the Perissos Horizon chat room series. I am Patricia Dzifa Mensah-Larkai, a communication and leadership coach. I'm a two-time self-published author of Fearless, Fabulous, and Flamboyant, and the second book, Untangling That Tongue, No More Fear of Public Speaking. These books can be purchased online from Amazon.com. Please do get your copy and learn how to be an effective leader, looking at your value systems, and also improve your communication skills by learning from the tips, techniques that I've shared in Untangling That Tongue, No More Fear of Public Speaking. Today in our studio, we are going to have a chat on the topic, the power of the I can do it spirit. I love this topic, and it is a pleasure to be chatting with a longtime friend, an old schoolmate from Accra Girls. Yes, we go way back. Her name is Nanaa. She's currently based in the United States of America. I would let her join me shortly in the studio, and she will tell you a bit about herself. But before then, let me give you a little introduction. So you're going to really enjoy the chat. She's a phlebotomist-turned medical laboratory scientist, or what some would refer as a medical laboratory technologist. She is the recipient of the 2020 Stanley Medical Laboratory Science Award from the George Mason University. And she's going to tell us all about it, because I know way back in Accra Girls, she used to be a visual arts student, but getting into the United States, she has turned into a science student. In her celebratory notes, when she was awarded, she wrote, "When I started my internship at Quest in August 2019 till August 2020, people kept asking, how did you get yourself into this as a fashion designer?" Her answer to them was, being a phlebotomist, she was just curious to conduct investigations with the specimen or samples that she's been taking from patients. So I would just say in a nutshell, it was curiosity, but this time it didn't kill the cat, it actually elevated her. So I'm sure our audience are wondering and are eager to find out about you, Sarah. As I said, from a visual arts student and now a scientist, I want you to tell us a bit more about who you are. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Patricia, for giving me the opportunity and the pleasure today to interview me more about this. And I was so surprised when you gave me the title of the power of I can do it spirit. I don't know, it's been so long since we've met each other after high school, but it seems like, I don't know whether your spirit is close to me or something, but I'm somebody who is like always, when I'm doing something, I'm not a failure. I try to say I can do it. So maybe it's God intervention. God connected me to you to get to this.
Definitely. So yes, it seems to be some sort of telepathic communication. It's like our spirits are just talking to each other, and it just sort of clicked. And in fact, when I initially contacted you and we were chatting and speaking about all that you had, you've been doing, because when I saw the information on Facebook about your graduation, I thought to myself, wow, I need to have Sarah come into the chat room and tell us about this, because you realize that most often in this case, I'm talking because from where we are coming from, students of Accra Girls, and I know a lot of our mates have moved into different areas and different spaces, but you are still into fashion designing because it is your passion, but you also dared to move into this field of the sciences. And to start working in the laboratory? Tell us how that came about.
It's a long story, but I'm going to tell you all for you to know today. I started a primary school in St. Monica's JSS, JSS and a primary school. So that's where I started from. Then right from there, I came to Accra Girls. Yeah, Accra Girls. And in 2000, and I think we were done 2007, 1997. Is that right?
Yes, we got in 1997. Yes,
97 group. So I pick up something like, I was something like a creative person trying to create stuff like, so I went into the visual arts part. I thought I wasn't the smartest student because my family, everybody knows that I like putting on makeups. I like dressing up like a fashion, somebody who is always into fashion since I was a kid. And they said, oh, this girl, she will never study. She's not going to study.
Yeah.
She's not
Don't
going
worry about it.
She's like, no, she's all into like fashion, always dressing up, makeups. And I started my makeups, I would say, when I was like 8 years or maybe 7 years. That's how I started putting makeup. I go pick up my mom makeups, earrings, and dress up. So when I went to high school, I picked up a major as a visual arts student. And I was really good at it. It's like, I remember some of us like competition with each other. And one day I got up, we were crocheting, and I started making a crochet with a dress and a baby shawl, baby socks, and other stuff. And they were impressed with some of the visual arts students, if they remembered it. So I was really good. The only part I didn't like it to study. I want to do like creative stuff, molding stuff, like tie and dye stuff, like
all the artwork.
All the artwork, drawing or doing something. I was really crazy about it. So when I was done, I went to, after school, I went to a fashion designing school. And I went there purposely because they said, my parents said I was going to travel to the US. So both my sisters, I have two sisters who are in the United States, was telling my parents, I think she should go learn how to sew, because when you come to the United States and you know how to sew, I think it's going to help. You know, Africans, it's our mentalities of doing stuff. So when we were going, I told my mom, I'm not going to be done with high school and carry a machine and go sew. I will never do it. So they convinced, it took time. They convinced me for some time. They said, you are really good at it. I think that's why they wanted you to do it. So I have a sister who is in the States here. She was also like a fashion designer, but she came here and she went into nurse practitioner, and she went to something like, wanted to be a doctor. And they said, look at her. She was a fashion designer, but now it's like, she came here, she furthered her education. Now it's like she's going into medicine. So maybe in future it's going to change for you. So I went and did the sewing. I went there they said I have to stay there just for a year to learn how to sew. So I'll be so grateful with my boss who taught, and the daughter who taught me how to sew. I was like a precious. You know, Africa, if they say somebody is going to travel with something, they put all their efforts, everything on you for you to learn how to do it. So they were, they were pushing me with stuff, and I was the smartest to learn quick about everything that they were teaching me, and they were so impressed about that. But after that, I think I remember my boss called my parents and said, hey, she is done, and it's like, you guys have to come and just let's talk so that she can just go and start her own business if she's not ready to go to the United States. And when the time comes, she can go. And I said, no, I've been here just a year and a half. I just have to finish the 3-year course. And she told my parents, she said, no, she can sew, she can cut stuff herself, she can do everything. So I think you guys have to come do the graduation so that she can go start her own business. So my parents jumped in and they did that. And me coming here, it took a little longer. They thought I was going to be in the States early, but things got delayed a little bit. So I said, okay, I'm done what am I going to do with this? I could have gone to a computer school. I could have even furthered myself with something somewhere instead of going to fashion designing school.
Now, I will let you take a pause there, because what you just mentioned drew my attention to something. I don't know what it was at the time, but you would realize that when we graduated, I mean, way back in 97, as soon as you complete school, everybody seems to want you to quickly get on board something else.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was. It's either you're going into the, to study about computers, or study a computer class, or going into, something to develop your skills further, or just, prepare to get into the university. So at the time when your family mentioned that, okay, get ready and come to the US, were you at the time thinking about, when I get to the US, I want to continue with my education, or simply that, okay, when I get to the US, then I'm going to start my fashion designing as a business? Which one came first?
That was like that. That's a smart question. That's a good question to ask. Because I was someone I hated to study, my dad sometimes like get a little disappointed with me and said, I thought maybe you were going to be a doctor, or maybe somebody like with an office job or something. So I think my dad was always complaining after high school. He was always complaining and said, oh my God, you have to read. He gets newspapers in the morning and he would be sitting, drinking tea, reading it. And all of us would just ignore, especially me, because I don't want to. So I think one day I got up in the morning and I promised him, I said, when I come to the US, I'm going to further my education.
Wow.
I'm going to go back to school and further my education. That's what I want to do. And I think that gives him a little peace. It's like, I said, yeah, I'm not going to take this sewing for the rest of my life. I'm going to come here and pick something that is going to be better for my life.
But at the time, did he appreciate the fact that you were also passionate with the arts, and it wasn't just a hobby, but it was something that could become sort of an extra source of income for you?
At that part, it's like after high school, he wasn't appreciative, but he wasn't appreciative because he noticed, okay, I have a beautiful daughter. He doesn't like to study. I would like her to be a doctor. I would like her to be this. I would like her to work in the office or something. But when it was my mom and my my two sisters who were in the United States, idea for me to go into fashion because of the visual and the things that I was doing. So later, when I went in and I got better, I opened a big shop in our house, in front of our house. I have like 20 workers. And
that is back home in Ghana. Back home in Ghana, you mean, at the time?
Yes, at that time, back home in Ghana. Right after graduation from fashion school, I opened a shop, and it was like, I have a lot of employees who were working for me. It was like, my name was on the top. They said, oh my God, this little girl can sew. This small girl can sew, with a lot of workers who were even older than me. And sometimes he will pick up a chair and come and sit outside, look at me with my workers. And I think he was a little bit happy and was so proud of me. And people, when he's sitting out there looking at me in front of my shop with my workers all over me, the kids, they will be yelling. Some of them are older than me. And sometimes people will come up to him and say, oh my God, your daughter is so good at what she does.
She does. And I think that ties into our topic perfectly, because for the viewers who are now watching, or those who are watching the replay, as you can see scrolling at the bottom, our topic for our conversation tonight is the power of I can do it spirit. And it is so important to have that sort of mindset, especially if you want to survive and thrive and excel in whatever field you find yourself. that statement is sort of an affirmation that gives you a positive energy to keep on doing what you're doing. So I'm sure that as at that time, you had that what we call can-do spirit.
Yes.
But probably you hadn't thought of it that way. Or did you always tell yourself that, look, I can't do this?
No, I never thought about saying I can't do it. At that time, after I opened a shop, I got a lot of employees and workers who were working for me. You know what I said to myself? I said, I don't think I'm just going to go to the US. I think I'm just going to stay in this country and make my money. I don't care whether I go to the United States or I stay in Ghana. That's
exactly because you were not comfortable because you now had like your vocation actually materializing and creating jobs for people.
Yeah. And I was so attached to my customers. And it felt good to hear people telling you are good at what you do. And it's like, it felt good to have people who are older than I was in my 20s. It felt good to have people who are older than me, like 50, 40, and they can't tell me, oh, your daughter is really good with what she does, or maybe she's so and so. So it's like, and people keep bringing me more people to teach them how to sew. You know how Ghana, you have to pay someone to teach you how to sew. And that is
exactly like the apprenticeship.
Yes, they were paying me, and like I was teaching people. And what I remember, one name that they used to call me is Small Madam, because I was like,
you were like the young girl who was.
I was the youngest madam. I said the small madam is coming. The small madam is here.
Now
look at me.
to sort of encourage somebody in Ghana right now, probably the person just graduated from either they completed with high school, or they've just graduated from the polytechnic or even the university, and they have that passion for the arts. They have a passion. I mean, they're able to use their hands and their skills, their vocational skills to do something. What would you tell that person right now if you're watching you?
Yeah, I would just tell them they should keep whatever they are doing and focus with their mind, their heart, their soul, everything. Don't say you can't do it or this is not a good job for me. I know in Africa, they think like when you are doing sewing or something, you are not the smartest person. That's what people think. I'm sorry. That's what they think. So my advice, they are smart. They know what they are doing. And be proud of whatever you are doing. And never give up in life.
Exactly.
You don't know where life is going to take you. Now look at me. I came to the United States here. Then I came here. After that, I have to leave all my workers, apprentices, everybody over there, and come here. Now I have to focus on my promise to tell my dad I have to go back to school. It wasn't easy.
Wow.
It wasn't easy. I started the sewing when I came to the United States, 2006. And like 2007, I was a little comfortable. So I started sewing for people. But it's different here. It's not like Ghana, because this place, it have all the stores, the designers, and other stuff. So when I look at it, I said, no, I need to go back to school. So what I did was I went to Classic Nurses Academy School. It's like a CNA school, a certified nurse aid school. So I went for that like a month and a half. And I asked myself, I said, this is what I really want to do. So in the beginning, I said, I wanted to be a nurse. That's what I was saying. So I went to the school. I got done with the school. I wrote my state board exams. I passed it. I have my license. Then it's like I started working with it. I got a family that I was taking care of. I got attached to them. I was traveling with them everywhere. It was fun. So I was doing that, and as I was doing that, I was taking one class at a time because I know myself. I know what I can handle. I know what I can handle.
Yeah.
So I started a class here called ESL class. And ESL class, to me, this is how I'm going to put it. It's like going back high school in Ghana.
Wow.
Like this country is like people English as a second language. That is how it is in the US. So I took the placement test. They place you in a level, and they did place me in a level. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. In the beginning, I said, when am I going to finish this? So I pushed myself through by taking one class, English classes one day at a time. And I was talking to my sister who was also going to school to be a doctor. I said, hey, so I remember one day she told me, she said, Sarah, you know something? You are not competition with anybody. Just take one class at a time. When you are done, you are done. I did exactly the same thing. So as I was going, I take some of the classes. I was moving forward. I got done with that classes. I passed it. They placed me onto a college level.
And how many years did it take you to finish the what you call the equivalent of a high school in Ghana? So it was basically like somebody who has completed high school, and then it's like you're going back again to begin, so that you can grow accustomed to their educational structure and system.
And so, to build their strength. So I would say with the English classes, I would say it took me like 2 years, because what I was doing, I was working like 80 hours, 60 hours a week.
Wow, that must have been, you know, that's really tough.
It wasn't easy. 80 hours and 60 hours a week. So I leave the house like 7:30, I go to work, and I stay there till maybe something like 11 p.m. But with the family that I was working, they were good. So sometimes I sneak in and go for 2-hour classes and come back to the workplace and get done like 12 a.m.
Wow. So hold that thought. And this is where I want somebody to draw inspiration from, because when we kept talking and just trying to catch up as old friends and find out what has transpired, you know, in between the years, I was so amazed by your story, because a lot of us, and when I say us, a lot of Ghanaians sometimes travel abroad in the hopes of greener pastures, and that is good. And then some also travel with the intention actually of going to school. And when they get in there and start working, they sort of give up on the educational bit, because they're thinking, okay, it is too much. I can't stay up late and combine work with learning. But you were able to still do it because you had a focus. Maybe the number one focus at the time was to please daddy and at least let him feel happy that, okay, you have kept your promise. But I'm sure you derived some sort of joy helping people through the CNA, being attached to the family and helping them. So probably that also whipped up that interest to go in deeper.
To let me go in deeper. I'm somebody who is a free-minded spirit. I like conversation. And I was said, I'm not ashamed of my past. When I came here, I never know how to use the computer. It's like, and the computers are not too common in our country. With when I got done with high school and something, I don't remember we even used a computer in high school. I don't remember.
It was only Mr. Addison. You remember? It was only Mr. Addison's class. You know, we had the computer club.
Yes.
And it was funny. You know how we used to use the DOS software that comes in the green. Oh my God. I just had a moment again. Those were the computers that we used at the computer club. And so really we didn't have the opportunity to learn at that stage. In 1990, you know, we started in 1995, 96, 97. So that period, high school, we weren't using computers as a tool of learning.
So it was, so when I started the English USL classes, I had a brother-in-law who is so smart, and he's computer engineering. So when I came to them, he's married to my sister. So I came to them. So the first thing that I did, talking to him, he said, "We need to get you a computer if you want to go back to school." So I went to the store. I got myself a computer. Then he started walking me through how to use. He's the one who taught me how to use computer one day at a time. So that is how I started using computer. And with the people that I said I was working for, the lady was very smart, very educated person. So when I started the ESL classes, it's like I will just go to work, take care of her. It's like then she gave me a room as her office where I can do my homework. Where they have me and where I can study, because I open all my heart, my mind, everything. I do it for them. So she said, Sarah, you can use my office and do your homework and study. So I remember one time she asked me when I was about to sneak out and go to class and come back. She said, have you done your homework? I said, yeah. She said, you have 1 hour more. Can I look at your homework? So I gave her my essay, whatever years that I've written down to take to the teacher. And she started picking up a pen and a paper, picking up stuff and putting it down for me. She said, I know you guys use the British English, but American, sometimes our spellings are different. So she started correcting me and telling me what to do.
Wow, that is amazing. To have somebody that is really sort of empathetic and looking out for you to advance in your course, that is excellent.
So I was like New Year. So anytime, sometimes too, my brother-in-law also will just walk me through the process. And she said, I will not do anything for you. You need to do it yourself. So I keep asking both. It was like I have two people as a support that I was asking questions. If I have any questions, I said, how do people do stuff in this country? How did the people do this? How did people do this? So it was like, I said I was lucky. I count my blessing as that. Going to work, they gave me a place to study, do my homework. The same person will ask me, are you ready for class? Have you done your homework? It was like that motivated me more. It wasn't easy. It was tough on me. It was very tough on me, doing like 60, 80 hours a week every day.
Wow. But you were determined. And I am sure it has paid off.
Yes.
And before we continue to the next segment, I want to understand what made you to join the George Mason University.
Okay.
How easy or how difficult was that for you? And just tell us a little bit about the program and how you got to become the awardee for the Stanley 2020 award. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so after ESL classes, you take college classes. So I took all the college classes that I needed, and I have to transfer it. Once I wanted to be a nurse, so most of the classes that I took was for nursing.
Okay.
So yes, was for nursing. So the same year when I was about to enter into George Mason, that same year my lady died.
Oh.
It was like sad. She died that same year. So I have to look for a job, another job, and start a new job, have another experience. So I went to work in the hospital. I was as a clinical technician in the hospital. So I went to work in the hospital, and it was also very tough. Working in the hospital is not an easy thing as a clinical tech. So I look at the way people were doing stuff and what was going on there. As a clinical tech, it's like they teach us how to do blood, how to draw blood, how to put on catheter, how to collect samples from patients. So they taught me how to draw blood, and I was really good at it. Nurses would grab me on the floor and said, can you do this for me? Can you go draw this blood for me? And I have a friend who was always like, sometimes she laughed and make fun. She said, they will come and get you, Sarah, because they know you are really good at it.
Exactly.
And the reason I'm laughing is like the way she put it in a question or sentence and say it. Then I'll look at her and I'll laugh. I said, yeah, I know they will get me. So I was like, as a phlebotomist, I got good at it.
Yes.
And my boss in the hospital saw it and said, why don't you go take the certification? Why don't you get the certification? I said, and be a certified phlebotomist. And I'll be honest, right away when I said, my friend and I said it, she was able to approve it for us.
Wow.
She was like, oh my, yeah, you are good at it. I'm just going to give it. And I think I was also a hard-working person. I go to work and I work like I don't even sit.
Wow. And that is another key thing that I love that you have mentioned it, because most of the time, people who are desiring to move ahead or to move a step higher don't always look at the fact that it should be out of interest and passion for the results that the role requires you to achieve, and not just move up because you want more money or you want to move up just because you want a higher title.
No.
So I love the fact that you mentioned you were really passionate and dedicated with your work, to the extent that other people or other staff would actually be looking out for you because they know you are good at your job and what you are doing. So I hope that somebody who is watching us takes inspiration from that. Hard work pays. It pays to be hardworking. It pays to work wholeheartedly. And if you do that, it is very easy for any well-meaning supervisor or boss to commend you or recommend you to be given more opportunities. So I really love that you touched on that.
Yeah, so it's like that I got my certification as a phlebotomist. It was easy for me to get it because she wrote a letter attached to it. Yeah. And within like a month, I was already satisfied as a phlebotomist.
Yes.
Then one day I asked myself, I keep, you know how when you go to work, you talk to people. I keep talking to my friend. I said, what are they going to do with all this blood? Sometimes we draw blood and the lab technicians will call us on the floor and said, it's hemolyzed. The blood is not good. The urine is not enough. Whatever you collected is not good. You need to go draw it again. So we will see a note on the patient's chart that redraw again. And you know, sticking people twice sometimes is not fun.
I know, right? Because anytime I get to the, the phlebotomist, I'm like, okay, is it in yet? It's gonna be perfect, and I'm thinking,
yeah. So it wasn't easy. And one day I asked, my friend and I think started talking. I started thinking, I said, what are they doing with this that they said is hemolyzed? So one day I went to my boss' office and I said, I know I came here like wanted to be a nurse, but you'll be disappointed, Miss Linda. But what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to change my major.
Okay.
I did not even finish my sentence or whatever my statement, what I said. She said, Sarah, I know whatever you go, whatever you do, you will be really good at it. Go ahead. She said,
that is powerful.
Yeah, she said, I'm not disappointed in you, and I know you can do it. You've changed your major. I'm not worried. You are really good at everything that you touch. I still have that in my brain here every second when I think about it.
Wow. Wow. So words are truly powerful. And the words that we say to motivate, to inspire, and to persuade people to take that step of faith into the next higher level or into their step of greatness is really very powerful.
It was powerful. And I came home and I sat on my bed. I think I cried that night. So I have to leave the hospital floor, and now I have to change my major. Between that same year, that is where I lost my patient. I said, maybe God brought me to this floor for me to decide if I wanted to be a nurse or if I wanted to go into a different direction.
Wow, that is so. I mean, somebody mentioned something to me recently that sometimes we face rejection, and to us, we think it's rejection, but then it is God's way of redirecting us. And in the same way, sometimes we get into situations or periods where we are going through pain, and you realize that that painful situation turns around into a gain for us. So I am just thinking about the fact that you lost this patient who was so dear to you, somebody who actually would help you with your homework and all of that. And so losing that person, I'm sure you were grieving, you were sad. And just go back into the onto the hospital floor, work, and then get this aha moment that you can take a new direction and get yourself.
And even the most interesting thing was it is, I don't know, it was God intervention. The same floor that she passed away, she died.
Wow.
Was when I applied for job. That was the same floor that caused me for interview. And I did not have a hospital experience. And that was the same floor the manager said, there is something in this girl. I think I'm just going to hire this girl.
Wow.
That is how, yes, I was shocked. So when I went for the interview, I didn't recognize the place because she was in the hospital for some time. So I went and took care of her for 2 days. And she passed away. So I came home, I started filling application. I said I need a hospital floor experience. And I got a call after a week to come for interview. And I went for the interview. I didn't realize it. But when I started working there, and I noticed, looking at the room and the floor, the unit, the name of the unit was the same unit that hires me as a clinical technician. So I was telling everybody on the floor, I said, I came to take care of somebody in this floor.
For 2 days.
I've been here before. This is like a miracle. This is like, it's something.
Wow. And I'm sure it's just that positive affirmation that you had within you that you can do it. Even if you face a challenge, you know you need to do something else to move to the next step. And
let me tell you, sometimes
divine order.
Yeah. Sometimes, let me tell you, sometimes God have a way of doing stuff for us. When I went for the interview, they told me, I think I have like 6 people who came to interview me. And they wrote on their paper to be given to the boss, no hospital experience, no hospital experience, no hospital experience.
As if that was to deter them from taking you.
Yes. So the manager came and said, everybody wrote no hospital experience, but I think I have faith in you. I am going to hire you. And I told her, I said, Miss Linda, I am going to do this. I promise you I'm willing.
Wow.
And I'm determined to learn everything on this floor. Within like a month or 2 weeks, guess what? A patient wrote a letter about me. I was hit on the floor. They came and took pictures of me, posted it almost like 6 months in the system everywhere in the hospital.
Wow.
I didn't know that my pictures was even all around. It was people who were telling me.
And I think it's just because you were so focused and dedicated to doing not just the hard work, but doing it excellently.
Yeah.
And so it was that result that was making that impact for that patient to even give that recommendation for them to celebrate what you were doing on the ward.
Yeah,
that
so
is amazing.
It was like letters coming in. I'll be on the working with a patient. My boss will call me, Sarah, I need you in my office. You got this letter. I want you to read this. Somebody wrote something about. I want you to read it. I want you to read it. Wow. And finally, I decided that I told her I was leaving the floor because I changed my major. So it was the same time, the same year for me to transfer my classes to go to George Mason.
Wow.
So I decided it was everything happened in the same year. So
I'm telling you, when the doors of blessing and opportunity opens, it's like a gushing of the wind, you know. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like I transfer, I applied to George Mason, I got accepted over there, and I went for interview. So I have to see my advisor and talk to my advisor. And I remember she told me, she said, this major is very difficult.
Wow.
It would be good if you maybe switch, or it's a tough pace.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I told her? I said, I can do it.
That's right. That's right.
I told my advisor, I said, I promise you I can do it.
Wow.
With that
Wow.
major, I didn't know I was getting myself out of nursing to get into this, from front pine to fire.
Uh-huh. I mean, with every level of elevation, there is, of course, another greater responsibility and duty placed on us, whether it's to learn harder or learn more courses, just so we're able to scale that particular height.
Yeah, and I wasn't the only person that she was telling. She wanted students to understand you are not just there to pass the classes. You are just there to learn something. And if you think you can brush through these classes and get away with it, it's not going to happen. And I did it. I did experience it. I never took like any science classes back home. So even she telling me that, it got me a little nervous. So I remember I came home and my best friend, she came to visit me, and I told her, she saw the fear in my eyes and my whole body.
I mean, she would be like, how on earth would you want to go into such deep sciences when you have not had that, even as a core, like a basic foundation?
A basic, yes. So it's like, she said, Sarah, you are nervous, but remember, you are the one who motivates me every day to do everything. That's one thing that she told me. I fall into tears, and it was like I said, I'm about to start George Mason. I'm so nervous.
Wow.
And she said, Sarah, why? Have you forgotten you always motivate me to? This is the first I'm seeing you panic about something, about this whole school thing that you're gonna start. I said, it's a challenge. They said it's a challenge, but I can do it. I think I'll be, it's like in the beginning, I was nervous. I was scared. It's like, so she said, you can do it. I remember the first day school was open, driving. On the way to school, I was singing, I was crying, driving in my car. Tears, I shed tears. I can't believe it that I like a visual arts student getting into Mason.
Wow. And for our viewers who are watching, they might be wondering, because that was what really caught my attention as well. They will be wondering, okay, so we know that in the US, they have different categories and levels of the universities and colleges. And it is really tough to get into, placement into different categories. So you tell us, George Mason University in your state falls under which category?
Can you repeat? You were cutting off with the internet. Can you repeat it again?
Yes. So we know that in the US, they have schools such as, they will say this is an Ivy League school. This is that category of school. So tell our viewers, for those watching, where George Mason University falls, so they understand how really determined you were to ace that, opportunity you had.
I think the ESL classes, I started from a college school.
Yeah.
But with the George Mason, I got accepted in, I think, 4 or 5 schools. I got accepted in Howard University, which is in DC. That's also a good school. I got accepted in Marymount University. I got accepted in Chamberlain College of Nursing. But I remember I got accepted in a couple of schools here. But one thing is, I was going to go to Howard University in DC as like physician assistant.
Okay.
I drove there with a friend, and I hate to drive in DC. I'll tell you guys. the cameras, everything on the streets. I hate it. So we went there for like 2 or 3 times. And I told my friend, she's also called Sarah. I said, Sarah, you know something? I don't think I want to drive in DC. I think I'm just going to go to George Mason.
Wow.
And I talked to a couple of people, and especially my brother-in-law. He is so smart. And I showed him the accepted letters, all the letters that I received. And he said, go to George Mason. George Mason is one of the top schools.
I forgot to ask you to have your printed certificate and award, but no problem. Later we can put it in the chat, you know, in the comment box for our viewers who would be watching the replay to have a look at your beautiful certificate that you posted on Facebook. That was what actually attracted me to sort of touch base with you, because, you know, I love celebrating the achievements of women, and that there is more that we can do if we are willing and determined to push ourselves to do the hard work so that we can break the barriers and move forward. Now, so time is certainly flying when you are having fun. But I don't want you to miss the opportunity to tell us about your design label, because you are still sewing, you are still designing, and I've been seeing you post those lovely outfits on your Facebook page. So let us know how you got the award, and then tell us also about your design label and what you are doing to continue with your visual arts passion.
So I pick up George Mason, and my brother-in-law said this is one of the best school around, and it was easy for me to drive over there every morning from work. As I'm still working a lot of hours. When I started it wasn't easy. I have never taken a chemistry classes before, guys, but I'm someone who socializes with people and very friendly. So I had a friend who was also really good in science. So she used to tutor me after classes, explain stuff to me and said, Sarah, this is how things go. This is how things go. So we took the first classes of chemistry. Both of us, we passed it. I was so happy. I have to go to the second level of the chemistry that I hear people saying that this is tough. We're failing the class. This class is tough. We're failing the class. And you know, people used to say every chemistry teacher, sometimes they are difficult. People say science students are the worst or something. No. Yeah, it was like, that is what I had on campus. People said, oh, the chemistry department is I don't know how to put it, but they will say something. Yeah, they will say something to discourage. I don't want to use the words that they used to use on campus.
I know, right?
I don't want to put it on right now on here, but it was like kind of a little nervous. So what I did was, with the second chemistry classes, it was my friend and I went a separate way because she was in a different major and I was also in a different major. So what I did was I hired somebody on the side that I was paying.
Okay.
I was paying someone to tutor me, especially on Saturdays when I'm not working.
For an extra class.
We go to a coffee shop and she would time me, and it's like she said, okay, an hour, I'm charging you this. So we spent like two hours there that he will explain. And sometimes too, it was on campus. He will explain stuff to me and how to do my homework. So I got through the second chemistry classes, and now I have to take like organic chemistry. Let me tell you, in this world, there is nothing that you can do. I've retaken classes before. I have to never give up.
Exactly. Even I had to take a couple of my classes. I mean, for I think the second year, in the university, I had to retake a couple of classes because I felt, look, I needed to do better. And I remember there was a time I had like a grade. I thought, oh, this is too low. Let me make it better. And then when I even did the research, it went further backwards, and I was like, oh my God. So there is no shame in having to take a course just so you can be better and advance. Because when you get a higher, qualification, you're getting more knowledge, isn't it? And if you put it into practice, it becomes beneficial to you.
And in the beginning, the classes that I went back and took, I noticed I was just flipping in. I wasn't learning anything. But the second time I take my time and learn something. And that's what I did. And I went to my advisor one day and I said, you know something? I was crying. I said, you know something? I'm not going to come to you with every class that I take. You've given me the list already. I will come to you when I'm done taking all those classes. But I have to take this class again. And I remember she told me, she said, Sarah, no rush. Don't worry. Whenever you are finished, you will be finished. But just take your time. And I was crying because I was heartbroken. I thought I was going to pass that class.
That's right. And so, I mean, it sort of got you because at the initial stage, you couldn't get the score that you wanted to get.
Yes.
But then you did not give up, even paying for extra tuition by a friend. And so this is something that our viewers should understand. Sometimes people go to friends for extra support and extra help. And especially in Ghana, you know how everybody wants things for free. But when you really want some stuff and you really want to learn properly, sometimes you need to be prepared to part with some money, because that the person, you will take very serious interest in getting that desired result, because you know you're paying hard cash for it.
Yeah. So it's like, when I went to her, she said, it's okay. When you are done, you are done. So I took the class. I said, I'm going to get an A. I have to pass. So I took the rest of all the chemistry classes and I was able to pass. Some of the classes were very challenging to me. And I'm so grateful. I had good friends. I was the oldest. I have good people that we sit in the library. They tutor me. We talk. We were doing that. And another thing was, one thing that I was also doing was I was a chaplain. So I have to put a lot of, I was a chaplain in the hospital. Like when I went to work in the hospital, I noticed my boss told me, you're someone who is really good with patients. And like, you have to find another way by doing this, even if you are not working on the floor anyway. So I decided to move into another big hospital to be a chaplain. So the days that I don't have classes, I go to work, I do my 8 hours, like Fridays, I go to the big hospital chaplain for 2 hours with patients.
Comfort you definitely have I can do it spirit.
Yeah. Wow. Comfort them, talk to them, pray with them. And if they need any emotion support or something, I was there for them. So it's like, when things were getting on me, I said, let me put all these things on hold. I think my school is getting very tough. Let me stop sewing. Let me stop chaplain. Let me just focus on school and work and see how.
I like that. So it means that there comes a time where you need to set your priorities straight. It doesn't mean that you're giving up, but you set your priorities straight and then you tackle what needs to be tackled in terms of the highest priority. And for you, that was getting more attention and more time focusing on your required courses.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to have to stop working. I have to quit my job. I have to stop working and focus, because it was getting heat. It was getting high. It was getting difficult. The higher the classes is, the difficult it is.
That's right.
It was getting difficult. And I was getting used to the science. Getting used to that. It was getting interesting. There is one class that I took that is immunology. I love it. With the T cells, the B cells, the immune system. It's like, it was a fun class for me. What goes on in the human body, what is good, what is bad, how we get cancer and other stuff.
Wow, you need to take me through that. And but not today. We will probably
it's gonna take time. So I got used to it, and with that particular class, it's my advisor who teaches that class. And I told her, I said, Dr. Rehoboam, I'm gonna get an A. I want an A in this class.
Because you enjoyed the subject and you were studying hard for it. Anyway, we have just about, because we are almost done with an hour, so I'll just say we would wrap it up in just about 3 minutes. So take us through, I mean, now that you worked so hard to achieve your goals and even excelled to win the award, you then had time to go back into sewing when you get home. So tell us about your label and how people can connect with you and buy your stuff, because I know you have your business online. So we have 3 minutes. Let's talk about how they can connect with you.
Yeah, I was a lot of surprised when I win the award. I know my GPA is higher, but I got an email from the school and said, hey, you are one of the award people that we chosen. So it's like, you need to write something or maybe just fill out these forms and bring it to us. So I was crying the whole day. I was so happy. I told my mom about it. I said, oh my God, I got an award. I know I have a higher GPA, but I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't know how this was going to go. So, and I emailed my professor and said, thank you so much. It's like, she said, Sarah, you did. I posted a little bit of the comments online, but how how I got back into the sewing, when I started internship last August, we were not supposed to work. It's like, I have to quit my job. And it's like 40 hours a week every day. So I came up like going back and doing that sewing stuff again. That is the only way to get an income. Because it's like, you are still a student. It's considered as a student, you are learning. And it's a whole year thing. It's like, it was very difficult. I said, you know something, I have a gift. Why don't I try my gift and see how it's going to go? So a friend of mine had a shop, and I started sewing in that shop. And later on, I brought it home. I said, I think I can do this. Like, that is going to help me through my internship when I'm done with it. So when I started, people said, oh, you haven't done this for a while. How are you just doing this? I said, if you have it, you have it. If it's a gift, it's a gift. So I started creating labels about it, and it's like, now it's all out there. And I think one thing is, in life, if you want to do something, just said, I can do it. Never be a failure.
That's right.
You have to have the spirit of saying, I can do it. Even when you fail, you pick up yourself again.
That's right. And that's
yes. Don't lie on the statement. Yeah, don't lie on the floor and said, I can never do it. And one thing I also said, don't let people discourage you. Always go with your heart. It's good to listen to advice from people, but sometimes do what your heart tells you.
I love that. And that is where we are going to draw the curtain, and do always listen to people, but do also listen to your heart. And, you know, some will say that gut feeling you have, that personal conviction that tells you that go ahead, go for it. You've got the strength, you have the capacity, and so just learn hard, work hard, get extra tutoring, get mentoring, get coaching, get whatever it requires for you to build that capacity and get that knowledge and experience.
And always God first. Always just God first. One thing about me, when I'm doing something, I tell God, may your will be done and may your will be known into my life.
Exactly. We can't do it all without prayers.
Yes.
We can do it all with our prayers. So we are just wrapping up in the next 30 seconds. I have in my studio Sarah Nanaa, and she is a phlebotomist-turned medical laboratory scientist in the US. She's a Ghanaian, and we were all in Accra Girls. Accra Girls had the motto "Aim High," and we are aiming high. We encourage all our viewers, take a second look at the interview, tap on the replay, and find in you that power, that inner strength, that personal conviction, that anytime you meet a challenge or you meet any difficulty, tell yourself, I can do it, and go for it. Keep scaling higher heights, and do join us on another episode in the Perissos Horizon chat room, because you never know who is going to interact with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much. I enjoyed. I wish we have the time to say more.
I'm telling you, I have enjoyed myself so much. We will have you back in the studio to tell us how cancer comes about and what we can do to avoid it. So we will do that at another time.
Thank you. Care, you too. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.